Teachers, welcome to the tutorial on how to use blended learning to deliver content. If you're watching this tutorial, you have an interest in using blended learning strategies and technology to help deliver course content in perhaps differentiated or individualized ways to your students. This tutorial will walk you through some of the best practice strategies, as well as describe for you a few of the technology tools that you could use to help accomplish this goal. Let's get started. So, what is the goal of this focus area if you're watching this tutorial? You've said to yourself that I want to deliver content to my students to individualize or differentiate instruction, or I want to do this in order to provide more time for in-class discussion, group work, and projects. You see, by using blended learning strategies to deliver content where students are able to choose the path, place, pace, and time of their learning, you may potentially be able to free up class time to have students delve into deeper discussion and engage in higher order thinking skills and projects. A little more on that later. So, who is this goal good for? This goal might appeal to teachers who have a diverse population of learners and want to differentiate instruction and learning experiences, or those teachers who want to make more time for higher order thinking skills and activities in the classroom. The possibilities are endless when it comes to content delivery in a blended and/or technology integrated format. So, what are some examples of content delivery in a blended learning format? Things that you can do include posting diverse and differentiated content and activities on a learning management system, or an LMS, such as Moodle, Blackboard, Canvas, or Haiku, for example. So if you know that you have diverse learners and you want to group them by ability, you can easily post assignments and group them based on ability and post differentiated assignments for each one of those groups so that they can access the information that is scaffolded to their needs. You can create what are known as flipped lessons. There's more information on our course site about what flipped lessons are, but basically it's the opportunity for you to create short videos that students would watch at home for homework on specific content or objectives that you want them to know prior to coming to class. They'll watch the videos at home, then come to class with an understanding of what was learned in the video in order to delve into higher order thinking skills, create projects, or have in-class discussions about what they saw in the video and about the course concepts at greater depth. You can also use blended learning to share a differentiated resource with struggling or advanced learners. So if you know you have a group of students who are struggling or are slightly behind, and you want to use this opportunity to have them re-review concepts or create lessons or activities that are better suited to where they're at in the course, using blended learning for this is a great way to go. Let's take a look at some of the technology tools that you could potentially use to help deliver content in your course in a blended learning format. Please remember, this list is not an exhaustive list of tools. This is just a sampling of some of the tools that exist out there. You may already be familiar with tools of your own that you already like to use, and you're welcome to research other tools that may fit your needs. One of the most basic tools that you can use for delivering content is an LMS, or a learning management system. Examples of these systems include Moodle, Blackboard, Haiku, or Canvas. While some of these resources are open source, which means they are free and open to anyone to use, your school may already be subscribing to one of these learning management systems. It'll be important to find out if your school is using one of these already and how you can incorporate it into your own course. VoiceThread, this is a presentation making software tool whereby you can create presentations and have students comment or respond to questions using audio or video comments. Screencast-O-Matic, which is exactly what I'm using now, where you can record a presentation in order to present a lecture or a topic to your students. YouTube or Vimeo, which is the form, it creates video of the presentation and it's easily shared to students using this format. Camtasia is another screen recording software tool, very popular with teachers who want to create engaging and interactive lessons for their students. Power My Learning is a resource whereby other teachers have posted pre-recorded and pre-made lessons and resources that may be helpful and beneficial for reinforcement activities or advancement activities. It's a resource that teachers can go to in order to access lessons for their content area. And finally, Khan Academy, very popular website predominantly for math and sciences, but they are expanding into other content areas, again, where they have pre-recorded flipped lessons that teachers can access and use to share with their students. So, now that you have an idea of ways that you can deliver content and tools that are out there for you to use, what are some best practice strategies that all teachers should consider when delivering content in a blended format? Overall, you want to be sure you set clear expectations and goals, practice consistency, so always use the information and the lessons in a consistent way. Determine early what content can and cannot be moved online. Please remember that there's some moments in the classroom that cannot be replicated in an online environment, and it's best to keep those in the face-to-face environment. So decide early what will be online and what will stay face-to-face. Be sure you set benchmarks and deadlines for completion of student work. Though some things may be self-paced, it's important that students have a way of keeping track of their progress to ensure that they stay on track and are succeeding in your course. If you're interested in differentiating the content for your students, you might want to group students in the LMS so that they can only see or access the information that's relevant to them. There are many ways that you can do this in your LMS, so you'll just have to learn how to work the specific management system that you're using to create groups and scaffold instruction. Also, be sure that you discuss or review online material in class. You don't want the online information to exist in isolation, so be sure that you are bridging the gap between what happens in the face-to-face environment and what happens in the online environment. Finally, if you've decided that you want to use flipped lessons in order to blend your classroom, some things to remember. Keep them short and focused. Usually 1 minute per grade level, or 7 to 10 minutes, is ideal. Anything over that and you start to lose student attention. Keep them interactive and engaging. So pause and ask students questions, or require that they take notes or complete an exercise at home that they turn in the next day and are held accountable for. And finally, model in class how to watch them at home. Modeling flipped lesson usage and completion is important to the success of your flipped lessons. In the following slides, I provide you with a few sample lesson videos regarding content delivery in a blended learning environment. The first video is a math teacher who uses an LMS to differentiate instruction. He's able to guide students from basic learning concepts to higher order thinking, depending on where they're at within the classroom. In the second video, a language arts teacher has students create a multimedia study guide that they add to and create throughout the semester in order to study the information they've learned in the course. And finally, in the third video, you will see an overview of what flipped lessons and the flipped classroom looks like in a science class. This teacher is able to use his flipped lessons to create more in-class time for labs and higher order thinking skills. Feel free to view any or all of these videos to help give you ideas of how you can begin to deliver content in a blended learning environment.